What's going on, everyone? I'm Encore. This is Tomorrow Never Comes. And here I am in my car again. Not quite like Ty Lopez, and here I am in my garage. But, before I get started, if you hear any snoring in the background, hopefully she doesn't see this as she gets older, but that's my younger one who is snoring away, enjoying herself, which is amazing. And that kind of ties into what I want to talk about today. This is a lesson learned from, I think she's 8 years old. So, Grant Cardone, I am a fan. I'm actually an admirer of his transparency, his consistency, the hustle, and obviously the wealth is a part of that. But what I'm a true fan, a super fan of, is how he raises his two daughters, or how he has raised them up until now. Him and his wife Elena, the confidence they have, the ability to speak in front of the public. I just love it. Everything about what they do exudes confidence. Doesn't mean it exudes perfection. It just means they don't care about trying something in front of other people. And I think that's amazing. But I think she's 8 years old. I can't remember her name. The younger one, I believe it was. I listened to her speech that she had at their GrowthCon conference. I think they get like 30,000 people there. Definitely in the tens of thousands, if not 30,000. And she was speaking in front of all of them. Full confidence, playing with the crowd. Unbelievable. But her message was actually quite interesting. And her message was had to do with labels. How we like to label other people and people like to label us. And there isn't one single label that defines us. And I thought that was very interesting. I mean, you always look at it and you're like, you're 8, you're 9, you're 10, what do you know? But the way she speaks and everything about it, I mean, you cannot deny that she knows what she's talking about. Her delivery is on point. But it got me thinking along the same lines. People say you're an introvert or an extrovert. You're a nerd, you're a jock or a jock. You like to study or you're smart, and those other people are not smart, or, more harsh words for them. So there's all these labels we put on people. You're athletic, you're not athletic. All these kinds of things that I used to do. To this day, I still do to some degree. And I've been labeled. I would love to stay at home, read a book, as opposed to going out. And that was in my 20s. So you can imagine those around me, what they may have thought or may have said. It didn't bother me. I would rather play sports than go out. So, but at the same time, when I'm out, I have a good time. So it's one of those things. It was actually a really, really great point that she made, and a great speech that she made, that you're not one thing all the time. So you can be lazy, but you can be energetic and ambitious overall, right? You can be a nerd or you love, geeking out on certain things, but you could be a jock at the same time. There's all these little different things, different scenarios, different situations, where we are different. And I think that's a good thing. I want to be the same person. So that's why when people say, this is how I am, I can't change, I'm like, that's BS. Because you will change depending on your surrounding and your situation. You put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, you're not going to act the same way as if you were amongst your friends that you've known maybe for 10, 20, 30 years. Very different. Same goes for just, certain things that happen to you or certain decisions you make and the outcome. So whether you have a massive success or you have, massive failure or learning, that doesn't define you either. It's the accumulation of decisions and outcomes over the course of time that direct really where you're going to go, as opposed to, do you want to be labeled as success or failure, whatever that may mean to you. And so she just got me thinking today. And right, very interesting that an 8-year-old, 9-year-old can do something like that and have such a message. And so same thing, I always have to relate it back to crypto, right? You could 10x or 100x on a trade or on a certain cryptocurrency or something, and you can think you're the smartest thing out there, that you can do no wrong, that you're smart and the person who hasn't done that is not smart. And then on the flip side, if you take a loss, if something goes to zero or you lose half or whatever the case is, you just lose, and maybe you lose a couple times, you're like, this is not for me, right? I'm not fit for this. And I don't subscribe to that narrative one bit. Every decision, every situation, every choice is different. Do you learn from your, mistake or failure, if you define it as such? That's going to determine what happens the next time. And do you care? Do you care what people say? Like on this video, I could get a bunch of haters. Yeah, that's great. You can hate all you want, but I don't see your videos. I don't see you putting yourself out there. So it's just perspective. And she gave me great perspective this morning, meaning Grant Cardone's younger daughter. And I hope my daughters will grow up to be like that. And hope is not a great strategy. So I'm gonna have to change that. I have to put them in situations to do what Cardone's kids are able to do, right? I mean, they're on these stages because he puts them there. They're on these stages because he himself builds a platform where they can practice and they can be a part of something that most 8, 9, 10-year-olds would fear. Forget 8, 10-year-olds, adults would fear being up there. So I think it's admirable. I'm a super fan of how he raises them. I'm an admirer of not just how she speaks, how they both speak, how both daughters speak, but the message that they bring when they do speak. So it's a whole different ballgame when it's someone so young speaking about something that touches everyone, and more so adults as we get into our own thoughts and we're in our own head. So look, I tied this into crypto. It doesn't have to be. It could be generalized to anything you do. Something happens to you, whether it's good or bad, that does not define you. Okay? An outcome that happens, that does not define you. Nothing does. You could change on a dime, and that's okay. So I'm learning. I'm doing that too, trying not to label. You may think that you go in a room and you're the smartest in the room, or if you go in a room and you think you're the dumbest in the room, or people say, hey, you're quiet, you never talk, and they label you like that, which I've been in many situations. But at the same time, you be in a room and they say you're very obnoxious, and this guy never shuts up. So look, be whatever you feel like being in that moment, learn from it, move on to the next. Everything is about moving on, taking some learnings, and having perspective. That's it. Nobody else's opinion matters in the long run. Nothing you do, and this may seem kind of bad, but nothing we do as individuals means anything 100 years from now, 50 years from now, maybe even. So no one cares. Everyone's caught up in their own feelings in their own head. So I just wanted to share this with you because this is what's been on my mind all day today. So hopefully my daughter, again, has provided some good background noise or background music for this message. And I can only hope that she gets on a stage when she's 7 or 8 years old and is able to deliver a message where she's got 40-year-olds thinking about her message and her delivery. So I hope this video brings value to you. It's more my thoughts than it was anything else. And, obviously, I'm not even going to say hit the subscribe and all that. Forget it. I think it's just a great message that she shared. I hope you guys just remember tomorrow never comes. Get in the game, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone.